So as usual, we'll begin with meditations. So we can see the meditation practice as a way to training our mind, and so it's important, of course, to recognize the benefits of training our mind, and also to understanding the when we engage in meditation practice, what exactly it involved in terms of our what we should be thinking and so forth.
That is something. That says one should I check it. It's not card thing. Is the children on the Mustard, Hajo, Leva on the Bell, Leva Chamber, no Lottie Chamber. There is a Lottie Zombo. I'll Leva Zombo Cinema, Fell at the second. The Niji artist. The new Lottie Zombo call the name says Zombigo. Says somebody Bandeva Shena, then you happen to call you the Malava Shena, then you have a share at the Santo.
So through training our minds, so we want to cultivate a good or a positive state of mind, or positive mental attitudes, and so the positive mental attitude, which really to supplement what the as a human being, what we already this have within us, this the great human intelligence power, and you say human brain, so whatever we call it. So we have this, as a human being, we have this great sense of discernment, sense of the intelligence, and so however it's there is the benefit if this intelligence has accompanied by the positive mental attitude.
That's something. So Lottie Zumba call says Zumba Banya Jin Lottie Zumba the Peje Shaker, Yella Neb Peje Shag be shouting. Young on the Lottie Zumba yard, Lottie Zumba Peje Shaker, on the Peje of Shaker, I was on the Mul Nebu, that's Shibu Shaker. That's on the children on the open to us. Meaning on the son to how about the Nyama Regel, says Koyana, Nyama Rayana, and the which say, then says over the Shashabo Log. So it and so the Asamata is the Cologmadua, the Sujachi. Says Zumba Key, told you, says your body. Says Shabbat Kaze Kondizoa says over the Kaze Kondizoa says Shen Dogan. Says all the San Dogan. Then no Yeda, then no Shirata or Teja, Pecha Karishanaiji, Yella Pempe Pechishama, Yella Nebugatine, Peche, Mache Bugatini, so Sonu Toshu Sanama, Sozon, Yoleton, and that young nothing on the good generation did.
Because it's not much really use of simply having this great intelligent and great like a brain, if it is not used in a proper way or in a very meaningful way. So therefore, in one way, the reason why it's important to cultivate a positive state of mind and a wholesome way of thinking, mental attitude within us, is so that we can direct this human intelligence, human brain to the most beneficial, in a most beneficial way. And so like how if we examine, if we investigate how, because of the lack of this the good mental attitudes within us, that how quite often we misuse this our human intelligence, human knowledge, such as like we misuse to bring harm, causing harm to other beings, and so we can see how this can be easily, without the right state of mind, it can be easily misused for a wrong purpose and something destructive, rather than something beneficial. So therefore, not only that, how on a everyday basis, if we have within us a positive state of mind, and how because of that, or as a force of this positive state of mind within us, we will notice, we will find that there's more joy and more positive feeling, and there's a more happiness, within ourselves, and also this has also the benefit in terms of when we have a positive state of mind within us. It has a benefit in terms of maintaining some sort of like a clarity, clear thinking, and some sort of sanity, within ourselves.
Today is that go ja says what the condition that's some to good. Now go Majana, Sam Maria, the Chajin Roting. Go Jana says more young. That is answer, Santona, Nagin, the San Togo. Go Jan says almost carrying with the sun. Go Ja, go Ja, Rongi said, Yemano, I should never say the way. Go Majana, Tigata, so said yellow bottle, then never say. Yellow button never says that, something little no, no, there.
And then if the meditation practice is really something, if we say it's something effective in terms of cultivating and enhancing this positive state of mind within us, then we also have to understand then how meditation actually help or cause us to bring about this positive state of mind, and whereas how if we do not apply meditation practice, then how we would fail, or we are not in a position to maintain or to cultivate this positive state of mind. So the difference is that how if we look into the meditation practice, then it is a form of a discipline, mental disciplines, and where how we disciplining our mind to for example, to placing the mind on a specific objects, and usually the kind of object which we introduce to the mind in the meditation practice is something very positive. So in another word, it to some sort of right directions to the mind, something direction which brings which has some brings about some benefit to oneself. So whereas how when we are not, we don't apply the meditation practice, and if we simply let the mind just, the follows after the wandering thoughts, then how mind can be so easily goes to the wrong direction and goes after the wrong kind of objects. So therefore, it is meditation practice is like, in a way, it is like the connecting, our mind to a right direction, right kind of objects.
Sono tetto goja lode lobi shuli done yo tabitela che tate chi godeva chi gode sadilla ma chi nyosre se bici di gode terra tombi chi se da chi nyosre se chi 저 다 만두가 시 체이샤야 봐 이제 저는 팀이 저다 저서 라야 이제 저서 내가다 진여제 치제 로데 로베쇼를 제대로 요다비 될라 치바 치세 기바다 용도와 치세 지성의 진 아제제 로데 로베쇼는 런에 될 제대로 요다비 될라 야지 치에 기바셔발라 치세 대신에 다다스 대신 뭐 나선을 대통령한테 야분도 와지 소소 로데 로베쇼로 가제 진도도 요다비 될라 가제가 내도나 대통령 아주 소소라 표시 전부 쉬우지 용은데 응안한데다 봐봐 소소 예대살라 표시 전부 쉬우지 예대 야불래 그래 로들래 로파도 뭐 용 소소를 야부 용은데 대중에는 아주 선도지래 잔들지 선은 거를 제나 아주 제도를 되지야
So in meditation practice, so we also when we engage in meditation practice, so we trying to really redirecting our mind to from going after some sort of negative and or wrong directions and towards the positive objects and towards the positive directions, and so and this is how then we through meditation practice, then we bring about some changes in our mind, and so in fact the actual meaning of the what we call as a spiritual practice or the dharma, so which has the etymologically or by term dharma has the connotation of something to like a correcting or to amending. So so from that perspective, so how when we engage in meditation practice, it really our practice really fits the actual what the actual meaning of the dharma is, which is correcting. Now from that term, there's an indication that we need to if there's an implication that our mind is need to be corrected. So what that is involved is so because it is normally mind is very much habituated towards towards negative way of thinking, negative objects. So however in meditation, so we prevent that and then direct or place the mind on the positive objects. So that's really means the meaning of dharma, which means the correcting or transforming or changing one's mind. So of course, in one another perspective, when we in a wider perspective, when the term dharma, which also means the that which holds. So from that perspective, then the everything is a dharma. There's nothing which is not included in that.
성 미드갈래 이거야. 이사 글라스에 코르타다 코르 죽은데와. 그런데와 아주 가진 성 글라스에 내 이거 그런 원전데와. 예가 된저 통고야 이제 들리게 제거로 저를 밤에 내려 가자. 거기 치러 가자.
No.
거기 가자 치러.
Spiritual law.
치러 가서.
Phenomena. Object. No.
Phenomena.
No. No. 남 지당 가서 다 시작했어요. 저 최대 시급세. 뭔가 됐어요. 가서. Phenomena's 나라고.
Phenomena 다 이해했잖아. 이제. 이제 내가 보면서.
No.
Yeah.
So we talking about the wider meaning of
phenomena.
yeah.
Glass eye phenomena. Why is he all hold it there? Hold it. I see where I see that's glass. You know, that's glass I see. You know, there that live by Sanskrit, Dhamma and Sanskrit. Hold this. Dharma said not Tibetan, no English, Sanskrit, Dharma means
holding its own identity, its own nature, characteristic.
Dharma said there and they hold him. Korongota, the guiding glass and Korongota, the Korongota. Then my she said, Lobby should see the new type of Chibala, that there's a teta, Mandongan, Chinos, Damade, Sharoy Lama, Sept Matioma, some take hold the other.
So generally in the Sanskrit word these are terms dharma, so which is defined as that which holds its nature. So from that perspective, so everything, all the object of knowledge, these are all dharma. So in a sense, like if you, for example, this glass, it's a dharma in the sense it's hold its own characteristic, its own like identity. That's why when you unique, when you from any other objects, when you look at that and you look at something else, but you can there's some things there which is very distinct. Ways that you can differentiate that from any other objects. So, however, when we talk of the dharma in terms of something to we apply in our life to put into practice, then as we were discussing here, so it is we're talking about the practice. So where the focus is on the mind and to removing all the negative state of mind and replacing that with the positive state of mind.
That's something to that Sanskrit Hachuba, get the Yadamanda, Sanskrit. Section, tell a moment, say, nothing in it. Last Sanskrit, see, she's on tell Maria said that. Caught Yadamanda, called Chichimush was younger, cases and the rest. And I said, that's on there to the Dama to go to Janum and Roger, was one. When I tell him, is I bang towering a lad. She said, some one night, I said, she and I there, the shaker said, Madeshare, Choros did. Said, Kavan over the Uchi, that century, don't chavachi, didn't know. That said, Jin Roya, Java Shen, the Madian we are. Tell something, no, see. Don't know the why the time it says, Goja said, Hacho Soso, and was Soso on the way. The new level, Goja said, Sintani, non sin never chat in China, they did that our share there. Goja Pento Pendus, the new Lord Juba, the opportunity, Terrier. Is the Drosamano, non sit dotongas. Drosamano, Yacht, and then Drodushimi. Keep on tell that's on death on road. I'm going to go there.
So Sanskrit is one of the oldest language, and it's also very unique and very rich in the sense that it has a very unique in that if those who excel them in that language, just the word, meaning of the word, then they also understand the meaning, not just the word, but actual context of that word, literal meaning, but also the actual the meaning of that what that word means. So now it's good to in order to appreciate the benefit of this practice, meditation practice more. So we should we can, if we investigate, we should investigate the true cause of all these fluctuations in our experience, our mood, from unhappy to from the happiness to happy to unhappiness, even how this can takes place within a short period of time, and then if you in 1 hour, and then after an hour later, there's you experience a change, and then if you it's good to, if we investigate what has the reality happened, what changes taken place in between in that time, then you can we can notice, particularly if we observe our mind, our thought in those time, then we can notice that how if an hour later, if your mind is, if you feel very unhappy, you're very agitated, very disturbed, then you can clearly see it's connect or direct that point to yourself to the cause to your kind of mind, state of mind, and so therefore because your state of mind is in that when you are experiencing unhappiness, restlessness, so it's very maybe very distracted, and also maybe it's your mind is filled with more kind of negative mental attitude, negative thoughts, whereas previously it was not filled with that. So therefore, from that perspective, so we can understand that how if we engage in meditation practice, then it has the benefit of the transforming our mind, and to getting rid of certain thought, and through this gaining control our mind, and really to ensure that there is all within our mind, there is no some disturbing thoughts and so forth.
That's something. Then never see. I'm wrong. Son Tony and the seller, Madame Moshagua. The son toshes the Yaji Mandobal, the Jado, Jeji and Kiss Mari. The only legs. So son toshes the Jaton, Tishul Farm Mando, I can Jatoni, then or I take Lusho Dello, on a conditioner, Kale command Johnny. Wrong son Tony, Sella Madea, so son tosho del Ya Maja was a count, his tender. Then Jam Mando, son to Jam Mando, I tell you, do a dead, Miss Yada Lana, Kai Pento, without them, one new. Then nil there you are, red, so the mother. Coron Jan, Roger, son, son, told you are. That you should tell us. Coro son on Madea, Coro Hako, Hako, there, college is an American cardinal, Maji, Tabaj, Sare, Kofa, Jito, the Kitchen, I ching, Coroje, Taro, Jin Yadingana. Tishul Palm and Raw, Tindy, Bakot, on the cheek. Canada, Tenindo, is that Tenilla, may say that Sosa, son of Soniga, my dad, Sosa said, Gichijana, that may choose Jibana, Teresh, and Tangi, Goja, go Juba, and get that, go Juba, man, take all the common yard, go Juba and tell the son Tetuna, upon the on the Goja.
And particularly, when we talk about certain the unhappiness or certain the unwanted experience, which is really directly related to our own thought, certain the thought or certain view of the things. So when we think of that, then we have to understand that the only way to really to overcome this problem is to change that, is to is to remove that thought, is to bring certain, is to cultivate a different kind of way of thinking, which in opposed to that one, and so therefore in this kind of situation, so it doesn't help, no matter even if there are some other who trying to help you, but it doesn't work until you do something to remove that the thought, and so how so it's important to understand, recognize that this is the cause of one's problems with this, and so therefore how if one continuously hold that that thought unwanted thought within oneself, and not only that, sometimes we not so much deliberately, but still even we recognize that, and still somehow we tend to hold on to that, as if this is something very something very precious, something we should be trustworthy, and however, but in fact it is the quite opposite what we think, and so therefore the how through the meditation practice and through training, through engaging in such thought transformation practice, and then how the moment we bring about, when we cultivate a different way of thinking, and then how in that moment then certainly this unwanted and very painful state of mind can just simply get healed, and so therefore from this perspective, so therefore we can really call this our practice in one way, it is the best of the healing medicines to curing the real cause our illness within us.
She took on Zona, no saying till Madeshare dead, then Chororation, said Chororation, Sam Maria Chires, Correction, Gadi Yena, 코용네 로마데 샤레용 된가 세 마리오 코레션 된제가 세 마리인데 오늘 깨지성이 물어서잖아 나 셔도 잡아지지 라 소는 예사는 예지제라 마디아정 너 예산데 또는 깨지성이 코레션です라 가가에 샬론 문제만 라 데이터전 저 이제도 세 마디아 세대지 라딩은 세 조금에서 딜다 세 철을렌스 아 시방에서도 신이 시방에서도 야보야 인제 철을 내셔도 아 데를 마처럼 내가 깨지선 너무 말했어 근데 제 내셔도 제 되네容易 세다 봐 싫어 다 로벨로 자자자 세도 내가 놀라고 내가听过的所以运用过这些那些大所弄嘛到可肉所动的他干嘛给点能了解的
So just before we begin this our usual breathing meditations, so just take into account of the how we should initially we should begin the meditation with the choosing the sitting postures which is most comfortable for oneself, and preferably for those who are familiar with the various features of the sitting postures, then that we talk about the 7 features of the sitting postures. So you should try to adopt that sitting postures, and then we have to think about the cause, the true cause or the true source of all the unending sufferings or the misery that we go in life, and so if one can, then it's good to, as we say, that the true cause is lying within ourselves in the form of some like a negative state of mind, negative thought or negative state of mind within ourselves. So if one can, then you should try to recognize that thought, and then say to yourself that pointing to that that it is you, which is the source of this continuous suffering for me, and there is nothing I cannot. You say to yourself that you cannot find any other object outside of that, other than that, outside externally, to blame these cause of one's sufferings, and indeed trying to think about how in talking about the external conditions of one's life, you should think of how one is so fortunate to very having all these suitable wonderful conditions in terms of one's the abundance of the lavish food, drinks, and the comfortable house, and so everything is there, and yet there is a continuous sufferings, and so therefore you say that there's nothing, cannot find anything else outside or other than this pointing towards this this negative state of mind within oneself, and so therefore as if you focus, you direct your mind towards that negative state of mind within yourself, and trying to, as if like you feel you cultivate like hatred or some sort of like anger towards that negative state of mind, and then to say to yourself, now this is why you want to counteract that, you want to finish it off, and so therefore now you are engaging in this meditation practice, and so in this practice then you determine yourself that you won't give a chance to this negative state of mind, even as instants, even as seconds, and so with this kind of determinations or these motivations to for engaging this practice in order to overcome or to challenges and the win over this negative state of mind. So with this determination and motivation, and then once you should begin this meditation practice by fully resting the mind inward, by removing all the mental the external distractions, and as the mind then abides or mind rests within yourself, and this is point then where you begin this meditation to then simply to direct the mind to the inhaling and exhaling as an object of the mind. So just remembering these points, so can we now begin the meditation practice.
나 세다를 내봐지 수제 생활대 권 별미네 라디자살에 세실로마도
So we continue with the meditations with the chanting of the Buddhas. So therefore you, as we begin the chanting, so you simply direct the mental focus on the sound of the mantra.
Taya ta om
So maybe we have some questioning and answers. So if anyone has a question, please feel welcome. Yes, please. The lukzi or lukzi, luksora, luksonge, luksonge. Tapena luk, jungi luksaga yong in Narwa. The lukzi ko luk de Kurangi, the music soa, the Kuran Nami, and take soa, take some loot in the Denderwa. The jungi luksaga yonga, and then the luksi the cultures.
yeah. I don't know what I got. I got that.
So obviously the shepherd's job is to stop the wolf from attacking.
What are method? All their question, some people all question same question. Some people you question very easy. Some people said my wife. Some people kill their kind of order. I don't. Not really what is doing. I said no harm to everybody. There no harm. They think when my wife, another people, he come and my wife killed. Then what I doing? I no harm. They're dead. Sooner dead, you know. Huh?
No.
Never say you are kick it.
No.
Drag to our code.
No. So isn't your caution is just related to, if someone attack, like for instance this in the wolf attack, so you don't want to harm the wolf. So basically it's our practice to prevent the harm, and so there are also some other people ask question, like whatever if someone abuse your own family member, like your wife, and what should I do?
Right, then the charge on this question. That and Catherine waiting to try to let out no ten charge on this. So then Geshe on this, not the new Geshe.
Yeah.
Kashi Tat interest, they'll let it interest in the Geshe cars on this.
No. Yeah, there's another Geshe who. Another student who asked a question about that. What if some another person abuse my my wife, then what should I do? Should I fight back to the person, or what should I do? And this other Geshe asked Geshe Doga, what is his? No.
On Tasman say what Geshe what says, and I did no masters. I said, no more. Oh, wife, somebody kill come, you party. You prep, you. Low and that, Roger, or Jan, low man can't do that. Yeah.
If you're not brave enough, then you can't do anything, because Krishna said, this is the time you have to protect. You have to do something.
Yeah.
If you don't have a guard, then you just go to run away or just sit quiet.
I said that normal in the world, normal.
That's normal. What in a normal the reactions of a human, or any being, to if someone attack you, and you have to stand. So of course it all depends on your tactic, because sometimes you simply have to show your bravery, and that will be enough to discourage the enemies. You don't have to do anything than that.
Never she's a no chance and never she would ask you. You're not in a is that there? She never she get no chance, Lonzo called letter to you.
So usually
then never sing a touch on the letter of them. Couldn't let them do it. No chua, no chua, Zeba go by there, Zeba church by saying you are. Sin never cheese, never magazine, never call pass Zeba go, Zeba mention using the Ra. Call man, Nelly can say to mother Zeba go there, mother. See troubles and never should go there. They were in a manner. God, then So normally the enemy will take advantage of attacking you if you seems to be weak, whereas if you seems to be more stronger, then that will discourage them. That's the way it works. The natural law works. Yeah, there come a short knife, big knife. Really, shop then now we have a city, big city with no kind.
You got to show bigger weapon than what the enemy carry.
So very wrathful doing. The ning of my life. Ning of my fishing on all of that. Remote you could just tobacco. Go children, I feel go down America. Go shivers and I got in on your I'm trolling again. All nothing my chances and troll drawing. But that you can have no change. Take a color when Romaja lost the tissue is called. She has understanding Momo let Romaja Chesed to just young. Chesed you the tongue at you were on there. Travel condo the trail at the get at you. One dish in the rich eye. You can find this.
So some of you might have heard this in the past, but Geshe was saying once when he was studying in Varanasi, so at one time he was out in the shopping in the city with another very close friend, who's now moved to America, and then at that shop was like a bookshop, and then there was a boy who actually slept at his friend, and then other people try to mob and they're trying to steal the watch from the wristwatch, and then the Geshe he was only there and there was no other Tibetan, and then he knew that was the well-known among a lot of Indian community that Tibetan always carry a knife. So he tried to put his hand here and they ran away. In those days, most Indian, it used to be in Tibet, but Tibetan, they all knew that they always carry a knife with them, and so Geshe pretend that he's got that, and by putting his hand. And that Lama was pretty impressed, and he said, "You are very clever." Check the action.
Yeah, that is
So you have to scare off the wolf. Anyway, very good question. He said more. So what is important is we should not lose our compassion and all the spiritual qualities, the spiritual practice doesn't necessarily mean that in the face of certain challenges, certain difficulty, if the enemy, for example, if some enemy attacking you, it doesn't mean that you have to run away. So it may be necessary to confront and challenge, but what's important in your heart, you got to maintain your motivation, your clear state of mind. Yeah.
It sort of follows on from that question, really. There's a very important ethical dilemma that a lot of people are having in Australia and elsewhere to do with the environment, trying to preserve native species against feral species. So an example would be foxes or cats eating native marsupials and birds. And so there's culling program where those animals are baited and killed. And the green movement, the environmentalists are split philosophically between those who say you don't kill anything, and therefore those things can run amok, or there's the other people who say yes, we have to kill the species to protect the original one. So how does a Buddhist resolve that dilemma?
the simjin do lumba dig simjin chilon simjin yo the din zamba dig that keep jain na kan chilon yo the dig lumba del saja di tol simjin de mangol nyugo so se ne mya chago so wa and the gang chechine da dig do the jangu soba so da do me the kuyu ki sungjob chingi mi do sanata chilon yo simjin de se ro to tang sama samya tang res 데리라고 그래서 이날 가시게야 구유 숨겨도 시스템에 다는 되게 말해서 삼sem제 수인의 상황을 나와요. 그래서 되게 이제 좋아지고 그래서
다음은 더 용어들 더 하나는 저가 거를 가르치 제려면서 셔셔를 봐. 예, 그래서
낭조는 낭백이 가르치고 그래서 아주 낭백이 따서죠.
다시 세다. 남이 다시 세셔를 제야 말로. 근데 그걸 너무 더 야지. 지대 삼아 지대 권타가 마 이제 많이 많이
It's a very critical questions. You know, there is from the Buddhist perspective, you cannot really say one is right, one is wrong. But what there was a very common word, you know, the quotation by the Lord Buddha is that I accept the norms of the the conventions world, right? So from and I do not do something against that norm of the convention world. So from that perspective, so we have to if there is a certain law that's been there, to whatever action we have to take, then we have to similarly have to go with that, because that is something agreed by the majorities. But also we could make the judgment in terms of the context, in terms of the whether the loss of the life, in terms of the number of the life has been lost by taking certain actions, and so it all depends on the case by case basis, to weigh which one is more decision, which way to go is the right decision. So it depends. So however, as a person, so as a from the individual persons, then so each one has a right as a freedom to and so from that point, so what we have to do is as much as possible is to prevent the harm to other beings. So of course the law changes depending on the government, type of the government, but overall is everyone, whole people have the whole citizen has the responsibilities of the what law we bring in the country, and so in bringing the law, so we have to look not just the in terms of our the current situation, or to benefit the current people, but more important is to look to the future, long-term futures. So like this is worldly decisions, you have to look into the long-term future, long-term benefit, longer. Of course, only thing different from this spiritual practice is only constrained to this life. But as a spiritual practitioner, true Buddhist, if you're a true Buddhist practitioner, then you have to, when we talk of the long term, then we have to talk of the long term is a future life, so in the future life. Whereas from that perspective, so this current life is very short.
제 치료 관계체 로에션에 대한 뭐 요즘 shaman 내가 와이스 되게 강 과거도야 치료 관계대 과거도야 디바레 디바에는 대 내가야 말이세 과용도야 잼도 예시지 so 되노지래
so like the most religions teaching they emphasize the ethics of like refraining from, for example, the adultery, and that's the also idea is also not just based on the effects on this life, but also probably in the future life as well. What kind of your future destiny? So based on the future life destiny.
Live very happy this life, live very happy that the result is not happy. Really Dhamma parties really that not do it. Not do it, Live happy, Yeah, really sexual happy, live
in the immediate time frame, yep.
Normally you say, I thought cheaper is a yard, the back I said, Marang said, the back I said, I said, Gown, the cheaper called Shamakoro Yaman. Children soldier, Jamakoro Yaman.
So I have to look in the as a spiritual practitioner. So we look the impact of our action in the long term, long-term futures. So even in some certain action which is immediate time frame, it's something very satisfying and brings a pleasure. But in long term, it may have a impact, of negative impacts. And forget about all this. Even there are how in our practice, real love practice, sometimes we even not only we engage in the negative and something destructive actions, but actually we take delight. We take rejoice in engaging and or having engaged in those any like such a negative actions. So that's a very sad one. The room in the corner is a confession room, so that's what in the corner there. Yeah, if you create negative, you have to.
Someone room back there. Live way down there. Time that devotion there.
I think so, yeah. So, the previous, owner, they were belonged to a Christians, order, they're Catholic. So I think that corner room, that is for the confession room, and maybe the priest sit behind where the carol behind the room. I shouldn't have said that. Huh? All right, okay. Yeah. Window. Is there? Yeah.
Master inside there.
Yeah. So we should not be rejoicing in our negative, rather should be, declaring and should be purifying, confessing those. So at least that shows that in Lucky Charities, if you committed any negative action, so you have to do the confessions. So that is their belief in terms of like purifications. So that which is common to Buddhists, we also believe even the negativity that we accumulate, it can be purified. So that's common,
Killing, sitting, some caution, and lying, harsh sleeping, and gossiping, wrongdoing, and other one got that. You come kill them.
Yeah. Those 10 non-virtuous actions. So it's something common to all the religions.
Yeah, religion, no kill, that's negative. No settle, that's negative. No congregation, that's negative. No lie, the negative, or the same. There's a milk tune, there's a opposite. Then not on there's a Mada and Comrades. And that Tashi Mugus in that, just try for rest.
So it's good question. Thank you.
Just to tell us, she's on Gojaki Patago, so you carry Gojaki Pachibo, Tanua. Get a tombo quiet, and know that, but know that they quiet, that anymore would you know? You know that. How come that? Then it's yes, never anyone know that, never never caught, never know that the new Gojaki Gojaki Ban, Giba Karchana, coach.
Even if you look at the Buddhist like ethics, you know, the systems, so where you can also see how there are a lot of exceptions that even the Lord Buddha make, you know, in a certain situations, you know, then you are allowed to do, but the same thing in a different situation you are not allowed to do, and also depending on the person, you know, if the person is sick, and then the certain thing, you know, it is allowed. Whereas if you're not sick, you're not allowed. So, so these things, you know, the case by case or depends on certain purpose and certain context, you know, to decide what